Hey, what's going on YouTube? Hey, Aaron here. Welcome to my informational video. No gameplay in this one, so if you're expecting some gameplay for ranked, not going to happen. My internet is just too inconsistent, and if I were to lag out in a ranked game, I would actually, probably break my console. But this video, I'm going to go over my personal favorites and picks for ranked. This season, it is tiers 6 and 7, and there's a new feature to ranked, the arms race, just like there was in Arena. You've got the health, the reload, the steering, and then the consumable, I believe. Increase your consumable time. But first, we're going to go over destroyers, which is the most important class. Guys, if you do not know how to do... If you are not a decent destroyer player, I would not recommend getting in a destroyer. And this is just, again, this is just my personal thoughts and and opinions. So, if you get offended by it, I'm sorry, that's tough. They're just what I... These are just mine. But there's only one destroyer per team, and the destroyer is the most important class, especially in ranked. I've said this throughout multiple videos, multiple times, and in standard you can make up bad destroyer play. In ranked, it is so glaringly obvious when a destroyer player has no idea what they're doing. But that's okay. Try it out and learn from your mistakes. That's what I did. We're not here to say you can't play a destroyer, but yeah, it's so glaringly obvious when you see the destroyer just completely avoid the caps to go around the back behind, and by that point the game is lost. Caps are of utmost importance in ranked. You need to really get two of them in order to win, unless you can kill the enemy ships. But yeah. Anyway, going off of my first picks, here we go. The Z35. This is probably going to be the destroyer I play in ranked. Now, granted, it does not have a very good top speed. It's kind of slow. Maximum speed 37. That's not terrible. But other ships that actually don't have the Vanklin, or whatever you want to call it, and a few other ships might be better options because of the game mode. It is arms race, so if you find that heal, I would sacrifice half of your health to get for it, because you can regenerate it. Once you get that heal, you can just go quiet and really sit back and win the game. That being said, regardless of the top speed of the Z35, the hydro capability or sonar capability of 5 kilometers detection of ships is insane. We're running a double concealment build on ours, and if you look at our concealment, it's 4.9. So that means we can stealth sonar a ship. For example, if someone were to come into my my detection and I see the detection icon, I just pop my sonar, and that person is guaranteed to be detected. I think that's kind of broken. I've said this before, the detection of destroyers is incredibly broken, but yeah. And saying the Z35 and the Z39 are almost interchangeable. The only difference is the caliber of their guns. The Z39 has the 150s with the slower reload, but you hit for much more. They're almost the same ship. Similar. You do have an engine boost with this one as opposed to the other one, but you still have that 5 kilometer hydro. So right off the bat, those are my top, these are the same pick, but that's my top pick for tier 6. The Jervis isn't a bad tech tree option. It's a little bit weaker than the Lightning, just in terms of the guns and the maneuverability, but it's still a very good pick. Especially with the new Perceptive perk. It's just twist and track without the, the turret traverse, which is not necessary for some ships. This would be a great option for the tech tree. My top 2 premium picks are going to be the Z35 and the Kid. I know you're thinking, the Kid, it has bad torpedoes, and yes, but you run twist and track, and I would keep actually twist and track instead of perceptive here. Maybe we might switch it, I might think about it, but the traverse speed is important for gunboats, and that's what the Kid is. The Kid is just a pure gunboat, and your job as a destroyer in ranked especially is to get the enemy destroyer off the board. Like we said, as soon as your destroyer dies, that game's pretty much over. That's what me and my ranked partner have found. And just so everyone is aware, here let's just so I'm not like talking out my my ass here. I have a 77% win percentage in ranked, so almost 80%. Now, granted, I don't have too many battles, 123, but I mean if you look at let's go. Oh, there we go. Nope. The game was lagging on me. I hope that didn't lag my... There we go. Okay, season 30 13. I only played 6 games, but as you can see, 100%, just absolutely obliterating teams. 83% in the last ranked season with I mean, just look at that percentage there. So pretty decent, so I know a little bit about what I'm talking about. Kid, Z35. The next 2 picks would be the Akatsuki and the Jervis for me for the tech tree options. The Vanklin is a decent pick because of how fast it can go, getting those perks, but I just don't play the French DDs too well unless it's, obviously the overpowered Kleber at legendary tier. The Akatsuki has incredible concealment and torps that can just literally obliterate any battleship, in the game. Let's go to the cruisers. Now, honestly, I wouldn't play too many cruisers at tier 6. It's going to be very difficult. The Atlanta, the Flint, and the Indianapolis are all interchangeable picks for me. The Atlanta with its radar, of course, and high DPM. Now, you're going to be shattering a lot of shells on each battleship. So, yeah, but if you can catch that, you combine that with your, with the smoke from your destroyer, if you coordinate that, and then, you radar the enemy destroyer, that's a win. Plus, obviously your high arcing shells you can hide behind islands. The Flint is a similar pick, but it doesn't have radar. It does have smoke, which I think I would probably choose the Atlanta just for the radar capabilities. Same with the Indianapolis. Now, all these cruisers are incredibly squishy, and the Atlanta has a low HP pool, but 2 decent picks for me. Now, I don't think there's a tech tree cruiser that I would pick other than maybe the Shores for the simple fact that it has high DPM as well as that radar capability. My number 1 pick would honestly be the Munchin. It has incredible, maneuverability, and I don't even spec that much into maneuverability, and it still has very good maneuverability. On top of that, it has very good DPM with low reload, a low reload, fast shooting guns there at the tier. And it has very good pen, as well as a decent fire chance. So that would be a good all-around pick. I think the Munchin, and then obviously the Belfast is kind of the end-all, be-all pick for its smoke and radar capability. But the Belfast, to me, if I'm a battleship player and I see a Belfast, most Belfast players are going to outrun their smoke, just with how kind of slow the stop and start is of these British cruisers. And if I'm a battleship player, I can see this, target it, and Citadel you or Dev Strike you. On top of that, it's a great ship. Don't get me wrong. I used to love playing this ship, but I think it got a little power crept. But it's still definitely a great option. Beyond that, maybe like a Miyoku for the tech tree, or the Fiji. But again, the tech tree cruisers at this tier, like I said, other than the Shores, are just not that great. Moving on to the battleships. Let's try not to make this too long of a video. The Florida would be a good pick. The North Carolina is definitely my number 1 pick. 16-inch guns, very good accuracy, strong health pool. Now, granted, it only has 25mm bow armor, so you can get overmatched by pretty much everything except for 14-inch guns, I believe. Somebody do the math real quick. Yeah, it's 14. What is that? 14.3 times 25. Come on, open the page. 14.3 times 25. I'm pretty sure that's 357. So yeah, you can bow. What is 14-inch? The Duke of York, 357. You can bow tank that. Oh my gosh, how do I not know this? Yeah. So you can bow tank 357s and above with a 25mm bow. So 14-inch guns you can deflect, but there's only a few ships at the tier with 14-inch guns. Moving on beyond that, the Scharnhorst is a good pick. Low caliber guns, you would probably play it like a battle cruiser. And then on top of that, the Sinop. The battleships at this tier are all relatively, they're very good. I wouldn't say there's one, maybe, like I said, my pick's going to be the North Carolina, but honestly, if you're just a decent battleship player, these ships, all the cruisers at tier 6 are incredibly squishy. So you can just pretty much pen them at most angles, and if not, get a Citadel or something like that. So, yes. Now, moving on, we have to go out of the ranked category so I can look at my tier 7s. Tier 7, the first season of tier 7 ranked. And we'll go by classes again. We'll go Destroyers first. And honestly, my number 1 pick is going to be the Lightning. There's not a better ship at the tier, I don't think, right now. than the Lightning, especially with the new Perceptive perk. Now it takes a lot away from my the reload time that I had on there, but that's okay. You're more of a gunboat anyway with your smoke hydro capability. You just rush destroyers, smoke up, hydro them, and you kill them. Now there are a lot of radar cruisers at tier 7 that I think people are going to be picking, Cleveland's, Ochakov, different things like that. But this is definitely my #1 pick. Of course, the Udachi at the tier is again, one salvo could dev strike any cruiser, and you launch both sets, and you can dev strike any battleship. On top of that, you get a torpedo reload booster, and if you stay out of concealment, I think I have like a 4.7 for what's my concealment? 4.5? Oh my god! I didn't even realize I have double concealment since I've played this thing. That's like I said, just concealment on destroyers is just incredibly broken. 4.5 concealment. Okay. But yeah, the Z-23 is also a great pick. I just don't like the lack of DPM for destroyers per se. Now, if you can catch someone in your hydro, you do have the extended hydro. I think it's only 4.4, yeah. Couple that with Twist and Track or Perceptive, and you could hunt the enemy destroyers with a cruiser player or battleship, and you definitely take advantage of them. Okay, moving on to the cruisers. There's a lot of good options at tier 7. I don't think any one ship's underpowered, but I'm not taking a Tashkent, really. I also don't have the Fantask, which would also be a great pick for the speed. Moving on to the cruisers, it's probably going to be the cruiser I take, the Baltimore or the Cleveland. I know the Wichita has a little bit more DPM in terms of the HE, which is probably what you need. But I love my Baltimore, as you can see, 3.4, 3.5 in the Cleveland there. So all three of these American cruisers are going to be great options. I wouldn't really, you could use the Suzuya. It's a great cruiser, but you're just going to be farming damage, and that's not what's needed for ranked. People really confuse damage and kills with being a good player, and that's not the case. If I get 4 solo caps, and not a single point of damage, I know we're going to win the game. I don't care about damage, especially in ranked. People confuse damage and kills with being a good player, and that's not necessarily the case, especially in ranked. Now, obviously, I do clickbait, high damage games and stuff like that. They're fun to watch, but it's not what wins games all the time. Albemarle is just too squishy. Edinburgh might be a decent pick. Now, the Georgia can overmatch you. It's the only ship that can at the tier. So that is something new to think about in the Edinburgh. Hipper, Prince Eugen, I don't think so. Charles Martel, no. Chapayev, yes, with the radar. But honestly, if you have the Ochakov, I would see no reason to choose the Chapayev. Kudasov might be a decent pick for that DPM. But again, you're just losing a lot of utility if you don't bring a radar. My 2 picks are probably going to be either the Baltimore or the Ochakov for the premium ships. Again, the Wichita is very strong with that 27mm bow, but you do have a 26mm bow on the Ochakov here, which can bow tank, a lot of shells. So bouncing, 14-inch and less, 50, you still get overmatched by 15s and stuff, but this thing just eats overpens instead of penetrations and citadels. So that Russian bias is really on display. Amalfi, if you want to meme the game. It's not a bad cruiser, it's just not something I would choose for ranked. Moving on to the last category, the battleships. Make this video a little bit, shorter. My #1 pick probably would be the John Bart. Now, that being said, the John Bart has 15-inch guns, so this 27mm bow cruisers can bow tank you. And honestly, for the John Bart, I might add the upgrade. What is it? Is it the yeah, this one. So you lose a little bit of HP, but you gain survivability in your turrets, which is good. Players and ranked will target your turrets in the John Bart. Beyond the John Bart, my tech tree pick would honestly be the Iowa. I know it's been kind of power crept into the ground, but it's still got some of the highest health at the tier. If not the highest, I don't specifically remember, on top of very accurate 16-inch guns that can overmatch a 27mm bow. So, this or the Massachusetts maybe. The Massachusetts and the Alabama are interchangeable to me. If you're in the Massachusetts, you need to be getting closer, which sometimes is a mistake in ranked. You need to see how the match develops. But with those secondaries and an accuracy build, you can do 2 things at once. You can be pelting another battleship while shooting at a cruiser or a destroyer. on top of, you know, having the power of 16-inch, you know, hard-hitting American battleship guns. And like I said, the Alabama is kind of interchangeable. The Georgia, it would be a decent pick, but it wouldn't be something that I would play comfortably. And other than that, maybe the Lenin, but again, people are just going to target your turrets. All the battleships, just like Tier 6, are pretty decent. I wouldn't choose the Roma or the Tirpitz or even the Bismarck or the Vanguard, but that's just me. I don't play those ships that well. And definitely, if you choose the Champagne in this and you're on my team, I might just quit the game immediately. No, I'm just kidding. Somebody asked me a question on that on Papa Nicholas's podcast, but LOL. It does have 406s, but they're just, I don't know. It's just not a great ship. Low HP pool, you know, decent top speed, but you don't need to be kiting in ranked. You need to be tanking hits in a battleship. So those are my picks, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed that video. Hope it wasn't too long, about 15 minutes here. So if you stayed till the end, I really appreciate you guys, you know, listen to me blabber on. Again, focus on those heals and maybe the steering or the reload perk. But beyond that, go for capture points. Be a team player. It's a team-based game. I cannot stand people that just don't want to play as team. I don't understand it. You're ruining the experience for others. And again, this is ranked, so, you know, it's in standard, it's like, okay, you know, the guy had a good game, whatever, GG. I made a mistake, no big deal. This is ranked. It means something. So that's the video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope it was informative, and I hope, you know, hope it helped you make a few decisions if you were pondering picks there. But those are my personal picks, thoughts, and opinions. Aaron out. Peace.